So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
7 weeks after winning her special election and a thunderous Democratic applause, Arizona's Annalena Grijalva was finally sworn into the U.S. House. Moments later, in her first floor speech,
I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
And then she did, becoming the 218th signature, locking in the petition and forcing a House vote in 7 legislative days. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. All House Democrats signed the discharge petition, as well as 4 Republicans, Tom Massey, a co-sponsor, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. And on this day, Boebert humiliated Donald Trump by keeping her name on the petition, even after a last-minute Trump White House lobbying effort. Headline: top administration officials met with Boebert about House vote on release of Epstein files.
Let me tell you, Brianna, it is incredibly unusual for the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, and the FBI Director to brief a single member of Congress.
But after that gathering at the White House, Boebert announced she was staying on the petition. Boebert wrote on X, I want to thank White House officials for meeting with me today. Together, we remain committed to ensuring transparency for the American people.
That extraordinary meeting here at the White House just underscores the stakes of all of this.
Earlier in the day, the House Oversight Committee released emails obtained from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, underscoring the close friendship between Trump and Epstein and indicating that Donald Trump was aware of Epstein's sex trafficking. In one email to a journalist, Epstein wrote about Trump, quote, of course he knew about the girls. In another email, this time to sex trafficking partner Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein wrote of Trump, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Girl victim spent hours at my house with him. House Republicans identified the victim who was with Trump as Virginia Giuffre, who Epstein and Maxwell allegedly forced into having sex with Britain's Prince Andrew when Giuffre was only 17 years old. Giuffre committed suicide last year. In an interview 5 years ago, Giuffre said that Epstein and Maxwell surreptitiously video recorded everything and everybody.
Very well-known names, the government officials, the politicians, the royalty, they were taping everybody every moment when you walked into the New York mansion, to Palm Beach. Everything was being filmed.
Do you think people knew they were being taped?
No.
No.
I do not.
Was Donald Trump taped with Giuffre or other Epstein victims? And is that why Trump's White House has been trying to block the release of data, photographs, and videos collected by the FBI? Earlier this year, journalist Michael Wolff stated publicly that Epstein showed him lewd photographs of Trump that Epstein kept in a safe.
The girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a third in which he has a stain on the front of his pants.
In a Senate hearing this fall, Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked about the FBI retrieving those Trump photos, and she did not issue a denial.
Do you know if the FBI found those photographs?
Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right.
That was not a no. And Bondi's deflection, leaving open the possibility that such damaging Trump materials are in the Epstein files, continues to spook several congressional Republicans.
But one of the things that went away during the shutdown is Pam Bondi was supposed to come to the House and answer these questions. And look, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but I did want Pam Bondi to come and do some explaining.
That GOP lawmaker, Warren Davidson of Ohio, did not join the discharge petition, but now says he will vote for the Epstein files release.
I'm going to vote for it if it comes up because...
You'll vote for the bill?
Yeah, because, look, I think the Oversight Committee has pushed out a lot of disclosures.
I will vote for yes on the floor.
And that was Republican Don Bacon of Nebraska, another GOP lawmaker who did not sign the discharge petition. Several Republicans say they've been advised by back-channel contacts at the FBI and the Department of Justice that the Trump materials in the Epstein files are even worse than has so far been publicly alleged. In turn, GOP lawmakers now expect a jailbreak on the Epstein files vote.
Well, I've already had a couple Republicans tell my office privately that they're going to vote for it, and I think that could snowball.
Several GOP lawmakers say that for their own political survival in the midterm elections, They need distance from Donald Trump and want to get ahead of what may be coming. At the White House, even mainstream media journalists are now peppering Trump spokesperson Caroline Leavitt with Epstein scandal questions.
Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach and so was Jeffrey Epstein.
Except the evidence is mounting they were more than just Palm Beach neighbors. Journalist Michael Wolff interviewed Epstein repeatedly.
I have been trying to talk about this story for a very long time now. And this is, well, perhaps we're getting close to the smoking gun. These two men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, had the closest of relationships for more than a decade. They shared everything.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
For his part, Donald Trump is clearly panicking. He wrote on social media, the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. But the stupid one, and the reckless one, according to some Republicans in the House, is Donald Trump.
The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary. But I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president. And what are you going to do in 2028 and 2030 when you're in a debate, either with a Republican or a Democrat, and they say, how can we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile back in 2025.
To be clear, once the bill passes the House, and it will, the measure will then head to the U.S. Senate. And just to begin debate in the Senate requires 60 senators to support it. However, the pressure on Republican senators is just beginning, and it will only intensify if the vote in the House is overwhelming. There are some Republicans who think that even if Congress has the votes to override a presidential veto, Trump and his Department of Justice will never agree to implement any measure that demands the Epstein files release. But even digging in could be political kryptonite for Donald Trump, because it will continue to underscore that Trump is terrified of the Epstein files, the data, the photos, and the videos, and that Trump would rather pay the political price of trying to keep things hidden than allow the unvarnished truth. By the way, one of Donald Trump's staunchest defenders in the Republican House is 82-year-old Virginia Foxx of North Carolina, and she just erupted after getting ridiculed over the government shutdown by a Democrat.
Ms. Ansari, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to interrupt you.
Republicans.
I'm going to interrupt you, please. I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what happened.
I worked every day. I don't know about you, but I don't want to hear another soul
We all
say
worked every
that.
single.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Point Pleasant, who wrote, Foxx is one of the crankiest and nastiest GOP members. Glad she is getting her comeuppance. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump freaking out as House Republicans abandon him over the Epstein files. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.